All right, guys, welcome to a very special episode of the Left Side View. So this is a weekly episode of the Wrestling Roundup. So we'll talk about obviously the world of professional wrestling, and I think let's just begin with AEW, and let's talk about AEW Dynamite. So a great, interesting segment to begin with. We had Chris Jericho come out to address Eddie Kingston after his loss against Eddie Kingston at the Revolution pay-per-view. So it looked like that Chris Jericho was finally going to acknowledge Eddie Kingston and finally shake his hand. Interesting back and forth. I think Jericho started with appreciating Eddie Kingston, and yeah, they did shake each other's hands, but then they were interrupted by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. They didn't really do much to Chris Jericho, but then they did beat down Eddie Kingston. And just then, I think the other two, the tag team that's in a circle. Santana and Ortiz, Proud and Powerful, they came out to make the save, but then all of a sudden uh, there was another heel turn. This time from Chris Jericho, who had a baseball bat in his hand. I think he beat his partner or former partner now, uh, Santana, and yeah, that led to a heel turn and a new faction called Jericho Appreciation Society. So it's we also had Jake Hager come out, and again, we didn't really know if he was going to be with Chris Jericho or his former partners of Inner Circle, but then he also aligned himself uh, with Chris Jericho. So yeah, there was a 5-on-3 beatdown, um, and we had a new faction and a heel turn. Anything that you want to add here, Amitabh?
Yes, Rahul. So we were always of the opinion what would happen after their match at Revolution between Kingston and Jericho, and what happened on Wednesday just shows that this storyline is here to stay. Um, Basically, Santana and Ortiz have been replaced by 2.0 and Danny Garcia, and yeah, I'm sure others will join Kingston and Santana and Ortiz as well, and we will see a 5-on-5 or a 6-on-6, whatever the strength of the teams are in the time to come. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think we can move on from the second. We had now finally we were looking forward to the team up of John Moxley and Brian Danielson, led by William Regal. So finally, that happened. I think these two took on Anthony Henry and JD Drake. It was an extended squash matchup, but again, the point was to see, uh, like, it's just a beginning of a new tag team, hopefully. And yeah, they beat these two guys. And once that happened, we had a promo from William Regal. Um, so yeah, not much to go on, I guess. But yeah, we'll probably see increase in competition for these two with time to time. And if I guess the idea would be if these two guys stay a tag team, then maybe they'll go after the tag team titles, Amitabh.
Yes, a couple of things here. In AEW, one thing I must really commend them for is even the squash matches is not an out and out squash match. And the person who's doing the job, he gets at least some spots. So there's some respectability to his work also. Something that where does not happen. And again, after the match, Regal tried to give a background of his association with both Brand Danielson and John Moxley. He actually overshot his time speaking more about Danielson. He called him the most perfect or the best wrestler, which increasingly I am thinking that is true. And yeah, so I think they're here to dominate. They will maybe get a couple of youngsters, so-called, under their wings, and yeah, they'll move from strength to strength from here before ultimately again a match between Moxley and Danielson. But I think that is far ahead in the future for now. Rahul?
Yeah. Um, I think we had a debut now to talk about. So we had a meeting between Andrade and Hardy family office. So it probably looked like there were already seeds of dissension between Andrade and Matt Hardy. And Andrade wanted to maybe oust Hardy from his own faction and take over the faction. But I guess Matt Hardy was so confident in his two guys, the tag team private party, that he had taken them under his wing, and he was like, these guys would never go against him. But then how wrong was he? Because yeah, even those two sided in the favor of Andrade, and yeah, after that it was a 5-on-1 attack. Uh, to make the save, it was Darby Allin and Sting, but again, it was still 3-on-5, so not really like evening the odds. And in a way, it was expected, but still, it kind of it was a nice touch. Um, it was none other than Matt Hardy's brother, Jeff Hardy, released uh, from WWE, and it on that very day his non-compete ended. So yeah, he was ready to make an appearance. The nice touch or the nice catch was that he was able to debut using his WWE theme song. So which is another reason why people knew that it was Jeff Hardy, and yeah, finally he came out to make the save and the reunion between the two brothers. So I think it's still 4-on-5. Maybe we'll see someone else also add up, to their team or to even the odd to even the proceedings. What do you have to say about his debut and this whole segment of about?
Yes, also they went with the old thumbs up, thumbs down routine. We have already seen, I mean, you know where. So, and with Jeff now into the picture, I think this feud again will go on for some time now. But I would really, I know they're not at their best, but I would love to see a match between the Young Bucks and the Hardy Boys. Um, that just me. Overall, the segment fantastic. The Swanton bomb. Uh, Witnessed that after a long time. So happy. No.
Yeah, I think we can move on from this. So now we've got a segment wherein we finally, or for the first time, actually saw Mike's skills of Wardlow. The fact that Wardlow had won the Revolution, what was it, the face of the Revolution match at AEW Revolution. So he was the one with the brass ring. And we also saw, him stepping away from Pinnacle from MJF. We didn't really see much of MJF or CM Punk uh, for obvious reasons. I think they were both too banged up after the Revolution. So yeah, Wardlow came out and he had a nice promo. I think he said that he has cut all his ties with MJF. He's still under contract with MJF, but then he just doesn't care anymore. That's what he said. So yeah, now that he's got the brass ring, I think he's also got a match against whoever is the new TNT champion. We'll talk about the TNT championship match after this, but anything that you want to add here without?
Yeah. Again, we at least I never expected such serene and calm performance on the mic by Wardlow. Maybe since he was with MJF all this while, we discounted him and his talent, but a very well put out promo. He gave the reasons why he was with MJF, looking after his family, his mother, and he was being paid well, stuff like that. So again, a little backstory to the character, and yeah, now he's trying to get that championship. Um, the match that happened between Sammy and Scorpio. Yeah, Raj.
Yeah, so I think we had a TNT championship match. So this was decided, I think, last weekend, wherein Dan Lambert, the head of American Top Team, he said that if uh, Scorpio Sky gets a match against Sammy Guevara for the TNT championship, then he'll have Paige Van Zandt, the renowned MMA fighter, sign a contract with AEW. So yeah, he got his wish, and Scorpio Sky had a match. It was actually a great match, but again, a lot of interference and even Sammy Guevara's real life girlfriend, I think I'm not really sure of her name, Taya Conti, yeah, even she came out, and yeah, in the end, even Paige Van Zandt was there. So yeah, all these guys, they interfered in a way, and yeah, in the end, it was Scorpio Sky who won the match after beating Sammy Guevara, who already was sporting some bruises and I think bandage on his ribs. Uh, so yeah, in a way, that was a good way to write him off, I guess, television, or maybe let's see what they do with it. But yes, we have a new champion, Scorpio Sky, and because of his victory and because of this match, even Paige Van Zandt, I think, signed a contract with AEW, and we can actually guess who her first opponent is going to be. It's probably going to be Ty Conti. But yeah, now the only thing that I want to say is that Scorpio Sky, who has just become the champion, I think he's now supposed to take on Wardlow. So the only question is, I mean, who's gonna win that match, because even Wardlow is so hot right now, and even Scorpio Sky is a new champion, so it doesn't really make any sense for either of them to lose. But let's see what they do with it.
Yeah, but actually, I think that Scorpio Sky is still sitting that, quite frankly. It will be Wardlow who will be given a title reign, and I think this is the reason why Sammy was asked to put Scorpio Sky over here. So it's just a matter of time as far as I am concerned. Rahul?
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe in that match, MJF interferes in that way. They can uh, still make Wardlow look strong, I guess, if that's the idea. Like Wardlow to have a match with MJF, so that MJF, and we don't really see MJF versus CM Punk anymore, or at least not for now. If that's the idea, again, let's see.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
quite
expect
possibly.
AEW to do it right. Like no matter what they do, I think they'll just have an idea, a good idea. So yeah, I think that leaves us with the end of AEW. I think we can move on to Raw, and we've actually got a great segment, a great match to begin with. When we talk about Raw, something that I've not seen in, I don't even know in how long. I think one of the best matches that I've seen on Raw, especially the opening. So we finally had the tag team match, a triple threat between RK Bro, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Alpha Academy, and I think there were some great spots. And the best part was this was not rushed. I think all these guys were given ample time, to shine. All of these got had some great segments, some great spots, and in the end, it was RK Bro who regained the titles after the match. I think. I mean, there were rumors that we could probably see someone like Kevin Owens or Seth Rollins, um, win the titles because again they have so much momentum. But then I guess we already know that there are rumors of Kevin Owens taking on someone else, uh, and maybe if WWE wanted to break up RK-Bro right now, then this was the time. So in that case, maybe it would have made sense to have Alpha Academy retain the titles. But maybe again, WWE doesn't really want to break up RK-Bro right now, which is why they put the titles on them. Um, but a great match, a great segment, and yeah, after the match, I think both were very shocked, shocked, in shock, in fact, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins again, because they were under the impression like, what are they gonna do at WrestleMania now? Even Kevin Owens sat uh, in the corner of the ring and was just so upset. Even Seth Rollins had such a uh, look on his face wherein he was like, "What's gonna happen now?" So yeah, a great story, I guess, a great match. Anything that you want to add here, Amitabh?
Yeah, so the story that WWE chose to go with was for RK Bro and Alpha Academy, it was all about the titles, but for Rollins and Owens, it was about making an appearance in WrestleMania since they have no other alternative as of now. I mean, till the match happened, and that is why they were so distraught after the match, and again in utter shock because they thought that their chance of appearing in this year's WrestleMania had gone. Even in backstage, I think the reporters they tried to catch hold of both of them. Rollins did not respond, and Owen said that he has a plan, which we'll discuss later. And yeah, the rumor that I have heard at least is that next week a certain Cody Rhodes would appear, and maybe he will be, facing Rollins. Again, we'll have to wait and watch for that. As far as the match is concerned, yes, a great match, and it was a long time coming from WWE that we saw a good match in one of these weekly shows. So yeah, I think Alpha Academy and RK Bro are still going to vie for the title at WrestleMania. I don't see any other storyline.
Yeah,
Again, I can't guarantee that, but yes, no.
maybe they'll just add Street Profits instead of Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think we can talk about the Edge promo.
Yeah, so Edge came on and The lights were dimmed for him. He wanted to send a message to AJ Styles that the darkness in him is about to engulf AJ's professional career, and he should be, wary of the kind of dangers and risks that lie ahead. Um, Again, WWE don't have a lot of time to, build up this rivalry as such. So yeah, they're doing their best. At least they did not have a confrontation between the two individuals this week. They kept them apart, and the way I see this one going is maybe Styles will respond next week, and maybe Edge will take it a notch higher in the aggression level, and yeah, this will go on till WrestleMania, which I think is 3 weeks away. So not a lot of build up, but that is how they're choosing to go with it.
Yeah,
Rahul?
I guess at the same time, it makes no sense, if, for instance, they just want to have Edge get the upper hand. So instead of doing that all the time, it's best to not, have these guys appear and just wait till the actual show for these guys to have a match.
Yeah, for the sake of Styles, I hope that he wins this feud. But
Yeah,
again, you never know.
yeah, we talked about this before. I think it makes no sense, to be honest, if Edge wins it. Like, uh, I mean, Edge doesn't really need this victory. Simple as that.
Yes. We can go on to the next segment now, Rahul.
Yeah. So we had Kevin Owens. So he finally, uh, I mean, after his loss in the tag team match, Kevin Owens finally came out, and there were rumors, obviously, that he was going to call out a certain someone who, in my opinion, is the best, is the GOAT. Actually, he'd been talking and teasing, making fun of the state of Texas, and yeah, he finally called out by name. He called out Stone Cold Steve Austin. So yeah, he wants uh, to screen or host a Kevin Owens show at WrestleMania, in which is going to take place in Texas, and he wants Stone Cold Steve Austin to be a part of it. He made fun of a lot of the other wrestlers from Texas, like Shawn Michaels or someone like Booker T, but he even John Bradshaw Layfield. But then he was like, the right person is obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin, and yeah, then we had a promo which was on WWE.com's official YouTube page, wherein Stone Cold Steve Austin accepted, and he said that yes, he's going to be there, and I mean, two of the best talkers, obviously, and both use stunners as their finishing moves. So I think it's going to be great. Even if I don't really expect a match, like a proper match, but even if it's just a segment between two of the best talkers, it's going to be great in my opinion. Anything that you want to add here, Vitav?
Yes, Rahul. So this is what we have heard in various reports that Austin is not really happy the way the match was being booked, because he said that he wanted a lot more time to prepare for an in-ring performance. But again, maybe they'll do something they did with Hulk Hogan, Austin, and The Rock. Maybe they'll have a 10-15 minute segment ending up with obviously Owens getting stunned. So yeah, Owen, I think he gets his wish of appearing at this year's WrestleMania. Rahul.
Yep, yep. So let's see what's going to happen. And yeah, I think we can probably move on to NXT now. We had an NXT Championship match, a triple threat between Braun Breaker, Tommaso Ciampa, and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, obviously, before we move on to this match, we can actually talk about the tag team match. So Braun Breaker teamed up with Tommaso Ciampa, and these two managed to beat Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. But yeah, now that we had an actual triple threat for the NXT title, uh, actually a surprise of sorts in a way. We, at least I expected Braun Breaker to retain, but maybe it's a good way. It's a good booking, to keep more eyes on the NXT product. That we actually had Dolph Ziggler become the new NXT champion. The only catch is that it was not Braun Breaker, but it was Tommaso Ciampa who took the pin. So yes, in a way, this protects Braun Breaker as well. And guys, Dolph Ziggler is a new NXT champion. I think we're probably going to see a one-on-one matchup now between Braun Breaker and Dolph Ziggler at the NXT Takeover event at the WrestleMania weekend. But yeah, I think a good booking, good match. Obviously, three talented performers. I think we can move on to SmackDown now.
Yes, Rahul. So SmackDown started with Brock. Basically, WWE cheating its consumers once again. Brock came out, called out Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman came out and he said Roman is not available. Brock chased him. A car was ready, and yeah, Heyman sped off. So that is all you get at SmackDown for your title uh, feud that is going on. So good on you, WWE.
Yeah,
Nothing more to add.
yeah. I mean, in fact, there's something sad that you want to talk about, which is the injury to Big E. We wish him a speedy recovery. So there was a spot or a botch that went horribly wrong from Rich Holland, and yeah, since then we've we've seen videos from Big E from the hospital bed, wherein he has mentioned that yes, he has indeed broken his neck. But there's actually some good news as well here. It doesn't look like he's going to require an actual surgery. It's I think similar to what Ricky Starks had, uh, and yeah, it does look like that he's going to be wearing a sling, but he's, I mean, obviously he's out injured, but it doesn't require a surgery, which means that he could be back in 3 to 4 months, and hopefully it's. I mean, obviously it's not a good thing, but yeah, we wish him a speedy recovery. Yeah. And we can probably move on to this whole feud that has been going between Austin Theory and Pat McAfee. So Austin Theory came out like last week in order to embarrass Austin Theory. Pat McAfee. I think this time Pat McAfee was prepared. He left his post as a commentator, and yeah, they got physical, and eventually uh, he had to leave ringside. And in the end, the last match had to be commentated by Michael Cole alone. So let's see what WWE do now. Like, are they? I mean, because of this fear that every time Pat McAfee is going to be there, they'll probably Austin Theory will come on, and this will happen. So maybe they'll try to remove him from his duties as a commentator, and maybe for the time being or for till the match at WrestleMania takes place, they'll probably give Michael Cole a temporary new partner. Let's see what they do. But yes, finally we can probably talk about the main event, an actual main event between Sami Zayn and Ricochet. I think a great match, the match that we should have been given last week, uh, wherein we see Sami Zayn get a rematch for his Intercontinental title against Sami Zayn, for his title. It was a great match between two talented performers. So yeah, in the end, Ricochet retained, and yeah, let's see. I think what they're going to do with it now. Uh, I mean, who's going to challenge Ricochet now? Who is he going to take on at WrestleMania? Because we all know the Sami Zayn will take on Johnny Knoxville. But yeah, I think this brings us to the end of the podcast. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and thanks for watching. Yeah.